I would like to talk about basic requirements for a logical process. There's this dude Aristotle. He's 3 truths, and I'm just going to whip them up there very quickly. 3 truths. The first truth was a fact. The second one was a principle and a condition. Fact, principle, and condition. Fact, principle, and condition. Remember, fact, what are the facts? What are the facts? What's the principle? And lastly, what is the condition? Okay. So what? Well, the fact is, I am. We don't have to think about that. You don't have to think about, am I going to bleed if I get cut? It's a fact. You're human. Okay? Human factors is a fact. But then, listen to what he says here. He says the following one's a principle. He says, man, if you come to the table and you want to argue, you cannot contradict yourself. It's a principle of non-contradiction. Contradiction. What do you mean by non-contradiction? Well, exactly what I say. Well, give me an example. Oh, okay. You should never drive faster than 120 kilometers per hour. And then when you step out, you're going to drive at 140 kilometers an hour. It's a contradiction. Why do you contradict yourself? You should never smoke. And then you smoke yourself. It's a contradiction. Okay, but those are silly contradictions in everyday life. But if we profess something in an argument, we cannot in the same argument do the anti-part of what we've said. So I can't say we must do it pre-flight, but you don't have to do it pre-flight. That's a contradiction. You can't contradict yourself. Pilots contradict themselves all the time because we profess that we're operating in a certain way, and then what we do? We go do whatever we want to do. Not good. According to the principle of good argument, it's not a truth. The third one is then the condition of to know. To know. Knowledge. Knowledge. All right. There's instinctive knowledges. I really do understand that. Aristotle obviously understood that very well. But I mean, you cannot come to the party and come and have an argument with me about meteorology if you do not know the subject of meteorology. You cannot come and argue about the science of flight, aerodynamics. Don't come and give me some story about aerobatics if you don't know, formation flying if you don't know, or night flying, or bird flying, or cargo sling, or winching, whatever. Okay? You want to be part of this pond, buddy, you better know. So there are 3 things. Realize that you're a person. Secondly, stop contradicting yourself. And thirdly, be in the know. Lekker driftig. All right. First truth as a fact. Its existence, non-disputed belief, implies the blueprint goes with human beings, such as cognitive, physical abilities, all the kind of stuff. We can walk that fast and run that fast. We've gone through that. We need to eat, drink, and have normal bodily functions because a breakdown in performance is properly tended to. We bleed and die under circumstances. The knowledge of the fact must be held close to the heart, as the truth cannot be circumvented. So get over it. We are all human with human factors and human traits. All of us. All of us. Fact. Mr., Mrs., pilot, aspirant pilot, old pilot, new pilot, doesn't matter. You are, firstly, a human being. It's a fact. So you will live and you will die like a human being. You will prosper or not prosper, depending. And there are rules. All right, so that's the first truth. Then the second truth is, well, that's the principle, non-contradiction. This leads to the understanding that when we adopt a way of life, SOPs, life principles, an agreed point of departure, that we do not act or reason in contradiction. The violation of principle leaves an inconsistent behavior, untrustworthy behavior, confusion to knowing the truth, difficulty to fit into the ethos of community, and the creation of wrong, bad habits. Ooh. This leads to lying, denying, and ultimately, when judged, to be the recipient of punishment. Hey, lying, denying, and then whoop whoop, we've got you, boy. Because it's a just society. Hey, what do you mean by just society? Yeah, I know it must be just. So a just society is exactly what it says. You will be judged justly. What is good for the goose will be good for the gander. What is good for the normal one is good for the sorry, I nearly said politician. All right, scrap that one. Let's go back here. In flying, the dynamics are so high, the variables are so many, and the outcomes so unpredictable that any deviation from the norms can cause chaos, permanent damage, injury, or death. And man, sometimes I get this inspiration, I write these sentences, but if you actually think of that, that's it. It's serious dynamics, it's serious variables. Maybe that's not the right color pen. Serious dynamics, serious variations, serious unpredictability. Any deviation from the norms and standards will cause chaos. We cannot afford chaos. So, think about it. Now, this is, I just want to get a little bit clear in the right here. If you now look at the last one here, in such dynamic environment, mistakes, now listen very carefully, whether it's a deliberate mistake or an unintentional mistake, it is normally met with dire consequences. That is the sad part. Whether you flew into the mountain because you knew it was there or you didn't know it was there, the end result is exactly the same. Whether you know about a rule or you do not know about a rule, if you know about it and you ignore it, you don't know about it, therefore you don't contemplate it, the end result is the same. So what's the answer? Get to know. Know your game, know your environment. Yeah, but yourself. What are you doing every day? Yeah, I'm piloting my aircraft from A to B. Really? And what else? Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, but it's heavy. No. You're only as good as your last performance. And your last performance will be judged. Did you have the knowledge? Did you have the skills? And did you have the attitude to apply stuff right? Okay. Third truth was a condition. Now, what is the condition? That of knowledge of what is right or wrong, good or bad. In other words, this implies that we accept a certain field of reasoning. The prerequisite is knowledge, rules, regulations, and values. So if you want to come and talk into the aviation game, then you must know. Now there's a couple of rules. Look here. One shall only utilize proven knowledge and arguments. Good decision making is not but a well-informed argument that's reached a rational conclusion. All right. So what is a good argument all about? Well, a good argument, if I need to make a decision, then I take all the facts, okay? I make sure that there's no contradictions, and I take my knowledge that I have myself, and when I put all of that in the pot, I can come up, hopefully. Now, it always comes back to what the guy said to Gary Player. Yeah, but you're lucky. He said, well, it's just incredible. The more I practice, the luckier I get. The more you know, the better your knowledge. Okay, well, that's the same words, eh? But the better is your decision-making capability. Cognitivity is not something that you were endowed with. Reasoning in a dynamic environment is a result of training and experience and knowledge and. It doesn't come by itself. All right. Should know if in fact be known regarding the situation. Known facts must be used, and then you formulate a new one. In other words, you become innovative. The truth implies without required knowledge, you may not engage in professional argument. Hey, this truth engaged without. Hey, all right. So, whoa. So when you don't have an instrument rating, you may not fly IFR. No aerobatic rating, no training. Hey, whoa. The truth implies, well, let's get that one in. The truth implies that without the required may you know not engage in professional argument. What do you mean by professional argument? It means that you cannot enter an environment of which you know nothing. Yeah, but I don't want to argue. I just want to do a loop. Remember, the argument that we're talking about is a sequence of cognitive processes to get to a certain decision. Now, if the decision is overridden by your prehistoric mind, which is your amygdala, and that is where seated your emotional and all that kind of feelings. If that overrides your rational brain, I'm talking about rational brain. Aristotle had rational brain in here. So think about your rational brain. What is in here? In your neocortex, what did we put in there? What information did we put in? How did we sequence the information? How do we relate? How do we interface the relationship so that we can make a damn good decision? Up to you. Right. Now, to know the truth and not to apply the truth without operational reason is a transgression. A. Driving 180 in a 60-kilometer zone. It's not to say that you're going to go to jail. If there was a damn fine operational reason, like somebody in the car that's going to die, it might be enough to circumvent you from ending up in jail. But if you haven't got a good reason, you're going to jail. But just remember, death is not something that can be retrieved. There is no mitigating. There are no mitigation factors involved in death. When you're dead, you're dead. It's irretrievable. All right, so we're talking about the life things here. Note that not all transgressions lead to accidents incident, but most all incidents and accidents are caused by neglecting the known and accepted truths. So we say, amen, come on. You must know the SOP. You must know. You want to be in this game? Realize that you're a human. Get your act together. Stop contradicting yourself, and you must be in the know. You must have the knowledge of the environment in which you are going to expose yourself in. Whoa, deadly paradox. Now, it's quite interesting. I said, an aviator cannot live a lie. It is a deadly paradox. All right, it depends on what you're saying, but I've seen accident after accident after accident, and the analysis of that, where the aviator was in denial of that he's human. He didn't go for the principle of non-contradiction. Didn't care about knowing. That's a lie. Oh, I can fly at night. Have you got a night rating? No. That's a lie. I'm doing aerobatics. Have you been taught to do aerobatics? No. That's a lie. You're living in a paradox. You're living in a fool's paradise. And you know what? Where is that paradise of the fool? It is in your mind. It's nowhere else. It is your paradise It is your paradox. It is your figment of your mind, which is totally irrelevant, and it cannot work. It doesn't matter how great you think you are. You will only be judged on your last performance. Every time it's your last performance, eh? Don't be it your last performance. All right. The truth about truth. Facts. Where does facts come from? Well, we've discovered and proven facts with science and history. So facts are there, and facts are written down, and we say this is a fact. If you drink that, you die. If you do this, you do that. If you want to do this, you do that. Those are facts. It is discovered and proven facts through science. It is proven through history that if you continue to do something like that, that will be the end result. Bang! Principles. We live according to principles in an ordered and predictable society. There's principles. How do we behave towards each other? How do we behave? How do we coexist? It is a coexisting thing. Those are the principles, and you've got to stay to it. Conditions, where were they coming from? They said these are preset requirements, and functional society is mostly governed by laws established by the function of society. And they are legally bound. Truth, therefore, is captured in SOP. So this truth that will set you free is captured in what? In rules. Whether that is rules depicted by the discovery and the proven facts of life, that one, whether it's through the principles or through the condition, it doesn't matter. But nobody, listen to that, it is irrespective whether you agree with it, whether you like it, whether you believe in science. What is your opinion? Who cares? What's your I don't care. How cool do you think you are? It does not matter. You drive too fast, it's over the law, they lock you up in jail. Well, I'm talking about a normal functioning society. Rules, if you overstep the rules, there will be a consequence. If you follow the rules, there's also a consequence. We say that rules are there to create order and prosperity and an end. And stepping over the rules, it can also create prosperity, but in a very, very short term. It's short-lived. Well, you know, let's get away from money and stuff like that, because money can buy toys. But money cannot buy wisdom. Money cannot buy attitude. Money cannot buy skills. But money well used can help to acquire the knowledge, can help to acquire the skills. And a good heart is something that you've got to work on. All right. The primary function of truth is to set you free. From what? From danger, from hurt, from prosecution, from looking after your shoulder, from guessing, ridicule, incarceration, that's in jail, eh? Blame, argument, guilt, from whatever possible causing the grievances. What is the... If you overstep the rule, there's a possibility that you will not be free. You will either end up in jail, or you will end up with a fine, or you will end up with a slap, or you will end up with an injury, or you will end up with death. All of those do not represent freedom. What does it set you free from? And follow the SOP. Now, but Charlie, that's very earthy-like. Well, it might be earthy-like. It's what the Bible says. Yeah, but that was only heavenly stuff. Really? So, How do we live on earth if it's only heavenly stuff? Surely, what is bound up here, down here, is up there, down here. Go and read the whole story. All right. Okay. Theorem applied. I'm just going to open up this and say, first of all, task requirement. You get your task. Then you plan. A planning process, and we go through that, is a way to create expectations. An expectation is something in the future when I'm going to do something. It's also a place to expose that which I do not know. And now I know I do not know that. And it gives me a chance to do something about that. Then we task it, we compare. What do we get? Then we correct it. And then there's the decision. The decision quality will influence the present, the future, and become the history. Aha. So, who makes your history? Look, I'm not talking about the world history and what other guys are doing. All right, come on, let's just between you and I. Your history will be known through what you have done, where you have had your influence. What did you know? How did you acquire the knowledge? What did you develop? Who did you help? What did you do? All right? That will determine where you are. I'm sitting here as a product of decisions that I have made yesterday. I acted into the day, and which will give me a reasonable prediction of the future. A guarantee? No. But at least a prediction. But if you don't have my knowledge and skills, you cannot, in this instance, predict anything in the future because you just haven't got the foundation. Get over it. And who must get into it? You. That's the plan. Do. Do the stuff. And then you again observe. Why? Because we can make mistakes. So, then we fix it. The man who makes mistakes has never made a damn thing in his life. Yeah, that's true. Golden keys. Let's look at it. No. Be capable. In other words, that's your skills. And have the attitude. Have the truthful attitude. Plan. Determine the shortage. Yeah. Determine the shortages in knowledge and skills. There. Determine. And then fix it. Go and study. Determine the expectations. Perform the task according to. Never. Never do ad hoc maneuvers. Why would you want to do that anyway? I can tell you want to do it. Because you want that 15 seconds of fame. Okay? Everybody wants their 15 seconds of fame. We can give you the 15 seconds of fame. But let us first prepare you for the 15 seconds of fame. Lest it not be too much for you. And that you become a deceased in the process of 15 seconds of fame. Be alert to change. Develop good habits. It's through repetitious, correct behavior. I just want to get back to that one here and say, listen, good habits. Really, really, really. I say to the guy, okay, turn left. And then as he starts, I stop him and say, what are you doing? I told you to turn left through 360 degrees. He looks at me and he says, you know, there's something wrong with this guy. So, okay, do me a turn to the left through 360. He turns, I stop it. I said to him, what didn't you understand? I asked you to do a turn to the left through 360. He looks at me and says, but you're crazy. You are nuts, old man. What's your problem? I said, my problem is you didn't look out before you turned. He says, I will look when it's necessary. Whoa, that one does not compute. Huh? What is a good habit? You always look out. Yeah, but always. Yeah, but I'm under control from the ATC. Always. Yeah, but I know it's already clear. Always. Because if you continually do it, you will continue to do it. If you do it when you think it might be necessary, that's when it would have been necessary, and you wouldn't have thought it was necessary, and. And there we get tail rotor inner damage, flying into wires, flying into this, flying into that. Why? Because you were not in the great habits. You didn't have the habits. Okay, habits. I think that's the point. Conclusion. CRM, scientifically based and not just a haphazard approach. Rules are derived from science, logic. Your machine and environment do not care about you. The uniformed will always try, the uninformed will always try and push you to make you prove to do something that you ought to do, well, you ought not to do. Note as well, and they will disappear. What am I saying there? Guys, listen. There's a lot of guys out there that's going to try and push you. Oh, man, Charlie, come on, do us a loop, man. Oh, man, you can do a loop. You can't do that. Everybody can do a loop. That guy can do it. You can do it. You must be able to do a loop. You do a loop and you die. Where's that guy? He's gone. Well, he's not gone. He's alive. You're gone. You're dead. Okay, maybe you're not dead. Somebody saw you. They retrieve your license. Say, where's that other guy now? He's still gone. He's alive, but he's gone. Your license is gone. Come on, think about it. I say it is only up to you to care about you. Forget mummy. Hello? I see the kids swimming in the pool and they get a bit of the fun. Mummy! Oh, mummy! There's no mummy! You care about you. And then I make a very harsh statement and I say to expect more than that is wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is not going to pull you through. CRM is knowledge, skills, and attitude based. It's got to do with man working and interfacing with man. So you need the knowledge and skills and all that to interface there. You need to interface with your machine. You need the knowledge, skills, attitude about that. The environment, you need the knowledge, skills, attitude about that. The rules, you need the knowledge, skills, and attitude about that. You need the knowledge and skills about everything that you interface in your life with when it comes, well, we're specifically talking about aviation now, because that is your core. Yeah, but Charlie, you know, I'm not a professional pilot, you know, I just do it on weekends. All right? So I'm a professional pilot, I can die any day of the week. You're a weekend pilot, you can only die on weekends. Now, what kind of an argument is that? All right, what part of being human didn't you understand? What part of non-contradiction as a principle you did not understand? And the condition of to know, what part did you not understand? There is nowhere that any of those said you're a professional or a non-professional. It only says you are an aviator. Okay? And then lastly, the point here is, what must we do? Guys, get training before you do something. Get training. Get trained. Yeah, but I don't like it. Get trained. Yeah, but it costs money. Well, test doesn't cost money, hey? Yeah, all right. Injury costs money. So there's a great one. Respect your SOPs and apply it. And then avoid fools. Avoid fools. Get yourself aligned with somebody that knows, that's been there, that's got the right attitude, that's got the right passion, that understands where we need to go. And then, that'll be the end of the introduction. Now, So what? There's a lot of work to be done. We want to do crew resource management, but we first of all need to understand how to be a damn good resource. And how will you become a good crew member? And then how will you become a good manager? This was covered in here. Those are the basic principles. And now, from here on, we can go into more depth in the different areas of crew resource management. Until next time.